He was the National League manager last night. Bruce Bochy of the Giants back on the program. Bruce, the difference between losing an all-star game and, say, a regular season or a playoff game, what's the difference in the feeling?
Well, it's similar. It is. We all love to win, we hate to lose, and it's really no different for me as far as All-Star game. And, of course, what's at stake, we benefited with the National League winning the All-Star game in 2 years there, 2010, 2012. So, I know going into the game what's at stake. So, it's still it's not fun to lose. You realize it is an exhibition. It's not something that goes on your record, I guess. It does, but you know what I mean. And
yeah.
It's disappointing, yet you enjoy everything about it, and the festivities, of course, the game itself. You appreciate the gifts and talents of all these players, the best players in the world, and of course, last night the tribute, how they honored Rivera there. That's something you'll always remember. And so, there's so many good things that come out of this game despite the loss.
Your thoughts when cleared the field and Rivera came in the eighth inning?
Very, very moving. This guy, he's not just one of the all-time great pitchers. He's one of the all-time great guys. Everybody just respects this man so much. He's such a humble guy. And, back coming home last night, coming back to the hotel on the bus, he sat across the aisle from me, so had a chance to spend some time with him. Really the first time, but just a great person, and but how all the players, stood up, clapped for him, the fans. There he is in a National League park, and it just shows you how much this guy is respected throughout baseball, and good for him because he's earned this, deserves it, and of course he goes out there and goes 3 up, 3 down on this too. So that kind of added something to it, but just a great moment, I thought, in baseball.
But Bruce, explain this to us, since we haven't played the game, and you being a former catcher. How does one guy for almost 20 years throw the same pitch? It's coming, and he's still dominating.
Well, it's coming at you pretty hard, and it's a pitch that the hitters don't see a lot, really. He's the one guy. There's a couple other have a cutter, but not quite like his, and it has such a late break to it. It's not like they realize it's coming in on them. It looks just like a fastball. Then it has that break to it at the end, and it's so late that they just don't recognize it. And even though they know he's going to throw it, you think, well, they can adjust. But you have to remember, he's got some velocity on that pitch too. And in our game, which sometimes gets forgotten, it's location. And if you can pitch on the edges of the plate, which he is as good as anybody, especially on the outside corner to the righties or in on the lefties, you're probably going to have success. Now you throw that hard and you have that leg movement, that cutter that he has, now your work's cut out. And I take it back to 98. I got kind of question why I stopped pinch hitting my left-hand hitters against them because they had no chance. They kept getting sawed off, and Caminiti, he came back and goes, I got no chance on this guy. So I started putting right-hand hitters in there, and they actually, got better at bats. So it's just a tough pitch to hit because you don't see it a lot.
Talking to Bruce Bochy, the National League manager from last night, Giants manager, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Okay, so that's the greatest cutter. If you were going to create, let's say, the best fastball that you ever saw, best curveball, best changeup, what would it be if we're going to start with Rivera as the best cutter of all time? Best fastball ever, in your opinion?
Well, I'll have to mention two guys because they were on the staff that I was on in Houston back in 1980 as Nolan Ryan and J.R. Richard. Best fastballs I saw. Incredible. one had a little bit movement, but Ryan had that late life. Both of them were close to 100.
What about curveball?
Curveball, I think you'd have to say Blyleven, but I'd say Nolan Ryan had a good one there too.
Changeup?
I have to go with my guy Trevor Hoffman, and my closer for quite a few years there. He had a go-to changeup that hitters knew he was going to throw it, and they couldn't hit it.
What about slider?
Wow, slider. I'm going to throw another guy, the same guy in there, J.R. Richard. He threw it at 92, 93 miles an hour. If he doesn't have a stroke, I can assure you this guy was heading to the Hall of Fame, but he just had a tremendous slider.
I would have thought Carlton may have had the best slider that I ever saw.
Yeah, you can't leave him out. Believe me, I had to face him, and you're right. He has as good a slider as anybody, but I'm just thinking of the guy I caught.
Yeah.
That hitters, they dreaded facing this guy. You ask any hitter in the National League when JR was pitching, they came up with injuries. They didn't want anything to do with this guy.
Clayton Kershaw said he was hurt, that you went with Matt Harvey. Did you talk to Clayton Kershaw?
I did. I talked to him here at the hotel yesterday a little bit, and he said, "Listen, all that kind of got blown out of proportion there a little bit. I didn't mean for it to go that big, and and that's to say, I wouldn't here to slight anybody, and of course he and Wainwright, but he couldn't pitch because he threw on Sunday. These guys were all considered." But of course, we had the perfect guy with Harvey, and I'm trying to, as I probably could have curtailed my comments a little bit. I just said, hey, it wouldn't matter which part we would have played in, he would have started, and I was meant to be a slight to them as much as I want to make sure that Matt knew. Just because it's here in New York, that's the only reason he's starting. I didn't want him to feel like that because he has had an unbelievable half, and I'm just trying to make him feel even more deserving of the start.
I guess I was told not to read anything into the Dodgers-Giants rivalry with Kershaw not getting the start and also Yasiel Puig not getting named to the team after Freddie Freeman went down. Was there any? No gamesmanship involved there on why you didn't pick Puig?
No. I made that stance early. I just felt that the guys that had been here the whole time or most of the time, that have done it longer than Puig. That's how I felt that they would be picked on the All-Star team. Now I did put them on the group of five that you could vote on, and he didn't make it. Freddie Freeman did, and and actually, Dan, if you look at the numbers, Ramirez was right there with Puig. He was killing the ball, and I was surprised there wasn't more talk about Ramirez because of what he was doing, and they had about the same number of games, same number of at bats, and actually, Ramirez, I think, his slugging was even going past him.
Before I let you go, last night on the broadcast, Joe Buck, Tim McCarver they were talking about Miguel Cabrera and said you could put him in top 10 all-time hitters in the game.
Well, I agree. I think if he won the Triple Crown, that's.
He's having a better year this year, Bruce, than last year, and he won the Triple Crown.
Right.
Crazy.
And so now this year he's doing the same thing. He's got a chance to do it again. Of course, he's got Davis that he's got a pretty good jump on him in home runs, but he still can catch that. But it's incredible what he's doing. And this guy, it's not like he's a speed guy either. And for him to be doing what he's doing, that's just pure hitting. So I agree. I think you have to put him up there.
Before the trade deadline, I get the feeling Tim Lincecum is going to be dealt. Just looking at where he is salary-wise and going into free agency. Tim Lincecum going to be with this team
the
rest of the year?
As far as I know, he is. And I haven't heard anything about any trades. I'm being honest now, and I mean, he's so well loved in the Bay Area, and of course from all of us. And just a great night he had with that no hitter too. But not to get off the subject. I have not heard of anything about Timmy being traded, and so he's with us. And believe me, we're thin in our rotation, so we can't afford to lose him. And we certainly don't think we're out of it. Now, we did have just an awful June, but we finished up on a good note, and we've been this far back before. I go back to 2010, so we still believe we're in this.
Good to visit with you. Don't take the loss too hard from last night, all right?
All right, Dan, I'll try not to. I had a great time, though, but you hate losing a game like this. But, like I said, it's such a great time, and I enjoyed all the guys.
Well, congrats on the honor itself. Thanks for joining us, Bruce.
All right, thanks for having me on, Dan. We'll see you.
Bruce Bochy, National League manager, Giants manager. Yeah, there's already talk about Tim Lincecum. There's already talk. They need some hitting there, and I think you're looking at Tim's salary, and I think that you got a couple of big ticket items there with the Giants. I just think Lincecum, now there's talk Tigers might be interested in him, so I don't know, just something to keep an eye on there. Tim Kawakami, San Jose Mercury News, had something column today about the future of Tim Lincecum. Fun kid, great kid, but I think his future is going to be elsewhere.